Hi.
Jazz hands here.
Thank you for tuning in to Diamond Realty Associates podcast, Real Estate Update.
Did you know?
I am Erin, and I'm joined here today with
Dawn
and Amber.
Our lovely Trace is gone for a few more days. She's been helping with the hurricane cleanup /
helping
medical aid in North Carolina. So thank you, Trace.
#hero.
I feel like I have my sexy podcast voice for my cold today.
Maybe we should do a shout out if anybody wants to help us raise some money for Hurricane Florence.
We found a real estate agent who was driving all the way from Texas to help with animals and people, and we want to donate to her personally. So if anyone wants to reach out and donate with us, we'll be making that donation next week.
Yes, we will post something on social media about it too.
Yes. So today we're finishing continuing our series of online real estate sites and what to know. We're going to be talking today a little bit about the different terms to know when you're searching for a home online. We're also going to talk about Tasty Tuesday, where we were and who was our winner for that delicious restaurant.
Yes.
I'm not even hungry right now, so I don't know why I said that.
So good.
Last week we took a look at a lot of the major real estate websites that are out there.
Zulia?
Basically.
Zillow and Trulia are two of the most popular, as well as Realtor.com. Huh?
You know, they're owned by each other, so they should be Zillia.
They are.
And
You're
probably,
welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, Zulia.
Yep.
Homes.com also is another one we see people searching. There's different ones as well, like HomeLight, ExpressAgent.com, ListWithClever.com, and then some online brokers like Redfin. So tune into our podcast last week if you'd like to know a little bit more about that. This week we're going to go over some differences between a broker versus an online broker, what the heck a broker is, realtor versus a real estate agent. There's big differences there as far as ethical guidelines they have to follow, and some home search websites versus some real estate brokerage websites that have just a home search on them. So we'll be talking about that today, so you will be in the know. So broker versus online broker, what the heck does that mean?
Yeah, so a real estate broker in our local market, because different states, different areas are going to have different terminology that they're going to throw at you. But locally here, a broker is your in-house person. This requires continued years in the business. It requires continued education, and it's a big deal. It's managing your brokerage. It's being there, being a wealth of knowledge for your agents, and if there's problems, something goes wrong in the transaction, the agents can go to the broker at the brokerage, or you as a consumer can actually call that brokerage and say, hey, I don't feel like this is right. Can I please talk to the person in charge? And that would be the broker. So you have a direct person to go to there. So it's important for you to know that. They are the superseder of the real estate agent. So, let's see here. For online broker, the difference is going to be that there is not a physical location. It can feel a little bit more like a legal hotline or something where you're just calling in. And this is for your agents that work, maybe they even have a physical office in our area. We know of a few brokerages like that.
We won't name them.
We won't name them because we're not picking anybody. We're not bullies.
No.
But they actually have to call a phone number to get advice in these situations. And then how easy do you think it's going to be you as the consumer to get a hold of these people? And are they going to have the right knowledge for our area? Are they even in our area? There's just a lot of different unknowns.
So if we have to have a broker in our office at all times during business hours,
yes,
how does that online broker, I mean, obviously then their hours of operation, they just have to be available?
So they have a broker of record in the office, sort of like a temporary broker who is a physical real estate agent, but then the actual broker is part on that, in that national, wherever,
crisis line,
they exist.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wondered because it's
and and we still have to have too, even if our broker, our main broker in charge, is gone for some reason, there has to be a standby broker in all of our local offices as well. So there's somebody in the pecking order of responsibility, experience, that they feel comfortable taking over. So it's kind of similar. It's just different if you're dealing with a practicing agent as the in-person one all the time versus
A 1-800 number.
yes.
Or a chat.
Or a chat line.
Yep, and then with a full online brokerage, you have to imagine that being even more challenging when they don't even have a physical office. Everything is online. So how easy is it going to be to get a hold of those people, and are they familiar with the local area issues?
Exactly, just like you said, do they know about unique things in our area like specials,
Or
floodplain,
septic.
code, Minnesota versus North Dakota, the
Right.
different stipulations.
And each state will have its requirements too on what it takes for licensure of a broker. I believe in North Dakota it's 2 years of experience and additional education hours, and you have to test out. Most states require you test out on that too. So that's really kind of what sets the broker versus an online broker apart. The brokerage is where the broker is, and then real estate agents and realtors are different too.
And your agent could have their broker license. Doesn't mean that they are the broker at the place where they work.
Yep, then they would be a broker associate.
Yeah.
Per our local level.
And that just means that they've taken the test and additional education, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, they've gone through to do all of that, and if they were to ever want to be a broker, they could apply for that position or possibly start their own company.
And then in some instances, the broker is a competing broker, right? And
Right.
other
Yeah.
instances, they're non-compete.
Yep. So on those online brokerages, you're more likely to run into the person who is physically there being competing because it's not their main person. Their main person is that hotline or the call.
Yeah.
And there are other local brokerages that aren't an online broker who do operate with a competing broker. Ours is not one,
Right.
which helps us a lot. We go to them with everything. We don't feel that
We have to keep anything from them.
that we have to keep any knowledge from them in case they were to be conflict of interest.
Right, because
You know.
that broker, they're actually doing sales themselves, so there could be a dual agency issue there where they could be working the other side of the deal, and then it gets a little tricky.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if something falls apart and they have a client for that. I mean, and
Person.
you've
Yeah.
told them X, Y, and Z about the property, it could be a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
Yes.
So these are good questions to ask when you're shopping for agents. Do you have a broker?
A competing broker.
Competing broker? Is your broker in the office?
How
Etc.
many years experience does your broker have?
Yep. That's probably more
All
important.
of the years.
I
All
would-
of the years.
I would say that's more important than how many years you have as an agent.
Yep.
Right.
Because you may be a baby agent, only been in the business not very long, but if you have someone you can turn to get the correct answers, that's just as important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like absolutely.
Any other feedback on that one,
I
ladies?
don't think so. No, and that doesn't necessarily pertain to you with your specific transaction, but it's good to know. It's kind of good to know how things work behind the scenes when you're trying to pick an agent or a brokerage to work with.
Pick a cool one.
Pick one that's there for you.
Yes.
And you feel comfortable at.
Yes. So the next thing we're going to talk about is home searching websites versus real estate brokerage websites. Kind of what are the differences between those?
Interesting. So like our Berkshire website is a brokerage.
Yeah.
Brokerage website, but Zillow doesn't have a brokerage behind it.
So that's just a home searching website.
Yep. It's just the middleman for you.
Do you want to list a few more that are of each kind?
Yeah, Realtor.com is same like what did I say before? Zulia.
Zulia.
So there isn't an actual physical brokerage attached to Realtor.com. Agents from many different brokerages subscribe to get leads from those. So when you put your info in, you're not necessarily just getting a Berkshire agent. You might be getting a Park agent, a Hatch agent. Just depends on who has subscribed to that website.
Well, and I think sometimes too, if you're on Zillow or Trulia or whatever, and it says listing agent, a lot of people think that's who they should contact. Well, if you're the buyer, that's not always the best thing for you to
Correct.
do because they're actually representing that seller, so they're probably not going to negotiate as well for you.
Right, and they can't advocate for you. The best they can do is be the middleman if you're having them work both sides.
Absolutely.
And they've already got a connection to that seller. They've already got a relationship there, and they're paying out the same commission either way. It would be better if you had somebody that you don't pay for at all representing you and really fighting for your best interests.
Plus, when you're a buyer, the commission, you don't pay the commission. Pick an agent that you want. Don't think you have to use the agent that is the listing agent.
And if somebody tries to tell you what you have to, then that's a huge red flag. Big red flag.
Don't do that.
Avoid big red flags.
Yes.
So if it's a big burgundy,
Trust your gut.
If it's our flag in front of an open house, then you should still trust it. If it's a, I don't know. Now I'm confused.
If it's a flag that gives you ickies.
No icky flags.
No
No
icky
ickies.
flags.
No matter what color.
Yeah.
True.
But I digress.
I know.
So what are some other brokerage sites that the consumer is going to be seeing so they can know the difference?
EXP is a new one that we've kind of seen pop up around here. EXP is one of those online brokers, but they do have their own website similar to Zillow, kind of like what we have at Berkshire, but it will assign you to an EXP agent. Just like if you go to our Berkshire website, it's going to assign you to a Berkshire agent. So it really just depends where you want to find your agents.
So like KellerWilliams.com, Remax.com, all of these.
21.
Century 21, even locals, parkcompany.com, Beyond, I'm sure has a search engine on their site. I would say that all of them do.
Absolutely.
Just know that those are actually tied to a specific brokerage versus the other one where it's just a search engine and you can contact agents through it that are associated with different brokerages.
And you can get websites too where maybe there's a person or a team who subscribes to a contact management site, and so they'll have their own website that they claimed, but it's like Zillow. However, it goes straight to that team or that independent person when you do subscribe your info.
Yep. Usually if you're on any website for a real estate company, they will have something like that.
Because they want to sell you a house.
Yeah.
They want your business.
We want to help you.
And we want to help you.
We want to help
Absolutely.
you. Okay, any other...
I don't think so. How about realtor versus real estate agent or licensee?
Well, I'm a realtor.
I'm a realtor.
I'm a realtor. What does that mean? What do we have to do to be a realtor?
We are a member of the National Association of Realtors.
And we also had to take what?
We had to take a test, but we had to take the Code of Ethics.
We had to take Code of Ethics. That's very important because maybe 10, 15 years ago, agents might not have been all that ethical. Well, now they're really hammered into us. Do the right thing. Advocate for your person. So we have to take ethics. We're not just a licensee or a real estate agent. We are a realtor with the little R, with the circle. We're fancy.
Trademarked.
And that means we have to take ethics.
Absolutely. And a real estate agent is anyone who passes their real estate exam and pays to have their license. So there are people that have passed the test and never really paid to have their license because they just wanted to take extra tests. I know somebody like that.
Which means they can't
which is
show
weird.
you houses.
No.
Yeah, certain areas regulate whether or not you have to be a member of the association, and if you have to be a member of the state. Like our brokerage is in North Dakota, so we are all members of the
NDAR. North Dakota.
North Dakota. So, and some of the agents in our office are also members of Minnesota because they reside in Minnesota and choose to participate on that level in the state too. So,
So it just depends on where their brokerage is home.
absolutely.
Ours is home in North Dakota.
And keep in mind, we're going to actually have an upcoming podcast going over the 17 ethics
That might
we've
be
adopted
a mini-series.
and their importance to the consumer because there's a lot. And if you ask me to name off the 17 right now, I'm going to fail.
Pop quiz.
I just took them and I could
Obedience,
name most.
diligence.
Well, it's
is
kind
that
of
one?
like
Or is
it's
it
like
different?
a sentence or a few words on each and every one. We have to take it every 2 years so that we stay on top of it. But I do think there's so much information there. That'll probably be a mini-series.
There's so much
So-
information.
Buy a house from me in a month when I've taken it, because I have not taken it this year.
We're going to be experts when we go over our mini-series, though, so Erin will be fine. They're in our office. We'll have a little rundown after this meeting.
We can make a cheat sheet for you, Erin. It'll be okay. I took mine.
Let's highlight. I just took
So
it.
stay tuned for that, so then you do know when you're working with your agent, what ethical obligations do they have to you?
And we'll try and provide like one case study for each one too, so you can see how that would apply to you in real life, and not just like our Bible, but why we have
Right, because
it.
people interpret the meaning of each.
What was that?
Interpret each of the meanings.
Interpret?
Interpret.
Is that like pamphlet?
Yes.
Interpret.
Yes.
Interpret. Okay.
Is that a good word?
Noted.
Yes.
Noted.
All right. Noted. Anyway.
I get what you're saying, Dawn. Everyone has kind of, ethics are gray. Ethics are super gray, and that's why there's a lot of case studies, and that's why they're continuously changing them. This is not just a flat document that we've lived by for forever. Every single year, NAR makes changes to the Code of Ethics, and that's why we have to take it every 2 years, too.
Because they adjust them. They may come across a scenario that they think, oh, let's put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think with just technology changing and other things, our market changing, ethics you have to look at it differently every year.
Yep.
Every other year, whatever.
I agree.
So, become a realtor by taking your Code of Ethics and join the National Association of Realtors.
And use a realtor that
And
takes
use
their
a realtor.
Code of Ethics.
So,
So,
Absolutely.
go ahead.
Oh, if you, two little side points here. If you have a grievance to file against an agent or realtor specifically, it actually has to fall into one of those 17 codes, or you won't be able to file anything. It has to fall into ethics for that to be prosecuted. And then the other thing too that I was going to say is every area is different, and for Fargo Moorhead, the FMAR, Fargo Moorhead Association of Realtors, you have to be a realtor to get MLS, multiple listing service access. So most people here are realtors. That is not the same throughout North Dakota, all of North Dakota.
In the more rural parts.
Rural, western,
Wild, wild west.
Wild west.
and in different states and stuff too. So make sure you're asking, are you a realtor or are you just a real estate licensee?
And say realtor,
Are you-
not a realtor.
And are you ethical? Are you a liar?
Liars. Sorry, that took a turn. Liars.
So with there being so many different places to search for search for homes, so many different websites, so many different people to talk to, we just want you to know exactly where you're looking and who you're talking to. So we hope this segment helped explain the different websites, who's behind the different websites, and questions to ask when you're interviewing agents.
Absolutely. And interview us because we're cool.
And interview us, or just listen to all our podcasts and you get a pretty good idea of who we are.
I like doing interviews. They're so much fun.
I mix up words. Words are hard for me.
Words are hard.
Words are hard.
So is math.
So we had a very popular post this week. I was so surprised at how many people knew where we went for Tasty Tuesday. And just a reminder, Tasty Tuesday, we like to keep it local, so we go and visit a new local restaurant every week. We usually try to get a gift card from them because they're extremely generous, and then if someone can guess where we are, they get put into a drawing and they get a gift card. So we were at, where?
The Shack!
Woo! I had never been there before. Of course, I'm not a local, but apparently a lot of people knew where we were.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
Someone did guess Village Inn. Sorry, Beth, you were wrong.
We love all the guesses, though, you guys. If you're not already following us on social,
Yeah.
please follow us. Please guess. You get free money if you come get it.
Yeah, we have so many
Come
gift
get it.
cards.
We're going to eat.
So
We should give them a deadline.
we have a gift card for Mary Knutson. Is that how you say it?
American
Not a silent letter, Swedish name or anything. Mary Knutson, you have a gift card to the Shack.
And I will take a caramel roll when you go.
Yeah, it was your caramel roll.
Oh my stars, it was so good.
So, Tasty Tuesday is going to come up with something different next week.
We are.
So, stay tuned for that.
I don't even remember what we're doing.
I know. That's why.
tell them
We
anyways.
can't even hint. Anyway,
Be quieter.
send in your suggestions, too, where we should try. If we haven't tried it already, we'll definitely...
Our list is not as freakishly long as it was before, so we need some ideas if any new restaurants have come up or where we should go.
Local.
So Mary, come get your gift card before we go back and get more caramel rolls.
All of the caramel rolls.
So if you need to find us at Diamond Realty Associates on Facebook. You'll see that we're pretty awesome people. We're very one-on-one client oriented, and we love to educate our clients, as you can tell from this lovely podcast. You can also find us on our website, buysellfmhomes.com. And as always,
Stay classy, FM.